We've been speaking a lot over the course of the last 17 months about what we're going to do in terms of dealing with the underperformance, in fact, the failure of our schools in many of our areas around the state. And it's been my position, the position of many community leaders, that we have to look at all different types of new and innovative ways to bring choice to parents and families and to bring a greater level of competence and performance to our schools throughout the state. And so today I'm here in Camden to announce, along with the mayor, our support for legislation that will be introduced next week to allow for transformation schools here in Camden and in other places that are receptive to this type of program. Turning over to a public-private partnership, some public schools along with school management organizations which will operate these public schools. Now, the legislation proposed will be a pilot program, and it'll be limited in several important ways that I'd like to lay out for you. First, it's limited to school districts with persistently failing schools. Districts where students face a chronic achievement gap will be able to apply to the Department of Education to create a transformation school. Second, participation in the pilot program is completely voluntary. Transformation schools can't be foisted upon a community. The community must come forward and ask to participate in the transformation school project. And so this will be a local-based decision from the boards of education who decide that it's time for them to try something different to improve the lot of the children and families that they serve. Third, the Department of Education would not be permitted to authorize any more than 5 transformation schools during the pilot project time, which after that period we could evaluate what the success of the program has been, and then along with working with the legislature and the Department of Education, decide whether or not expansion of the program was appropriate. So we're trying all different types of experiments. This administration has been very aggressive about the expansion of charter schools. And more charter schools have been approved in this administration than in any previous administration. We've talked about things like the Opportunity Scholarship Act, which we believe is extraordinarily important. Again, not as one silver bullet solution to the problem, but as another piece in the puzzle to try to deal with the problems that we have in urban education. And now transformation schools, which could also be another experiment. But folks, we need to recognize that none of these things are a silver bullet by themselves. All of them must be tried, and then, unlike what we've done in the charter school movement, which was initially intended to be a laboratory for better practices, was never intended to be a replacement of traditional public schools. But what we failed to do is take the lessons from charter schools and apply them more broadly to the public schools. In the same respect, we should take the lessons we learned from transformation schools, we should apply them to public schools, and if this is successful, broaden the program as well. The legislation anticipates these schools will be created in one of 2 ways. Either an eligible Board of Education will apply to build a new school, or a Board of Education will apply to convert a persistently failing school, which may or may not entail construction of new facilities, may mean just taking over an existing facility. Under either scenario, any new school will be built at the expense of the school management organization if a new school or renovations are built. And under either scenario, for each student enrolled in a transformation school, the school district will pay the school management organization no more than 90% of the district's per pupil expenditure. And so this is the same as the proposed charter rate and would not, as a result, drain resources from the regular public schools in the district. In fact, it would leave some money back with them. So we think we're taking a very reasoned approach to a novel idea of transforming public schools, novel to New Jersey, but not novel in other states. Many other states are pursuing this type of path, whether it's creating a new school or converting a failing school. These schools are going to be subject to the same educational standards as any other public school, and like all other public schools, they'll be accountable to the Board of Education and to the Department of Education. They'd be authorized for 5 years with the ability for the Department of Education to reauthorize them thereafter. And at the end of the first 5 years, the Commissioner of Education will be required to submit a comprehensive report to the Governor and to the Legislature concerning the effectiveness of transformation schools, making recommendations as to whether the pilot program should be expanded. So we're going to continue on the education front to do everything we can to break the cycle of failure. It is unacceptable to me to have children in this city and in other cities across New Jersey continue to be consigned to failure factories that we have neither the will nor the guts to stand up and fight to stop it. And so we're going to do everything we can do to make sure this legislation gets passed. I believe it will have broad bipartisan support. I will fight hard for it, both inside the Republican caucus and inside the Democratic caucus. And I hope that the legislature will move swiftly. This is not an idea that's not been done before in other places. And it's something that can really begin to turn around the schools in this city if it chooses to participate, and in others across New Jersey as part of our building blocks to rebuilding urban education. So I am thrilled to be here today. I am thrilled to have the mayor standing with me on many issues. The mayor and I have been working together to try to help to transform Camden. Along with her legislative delegation, we have been working regardless of party for what's better for Camden, its families, and its children. And so I'm thrilled to be here today that you would welcome me to the city. And I'm going to turn over for some remarks to Mayor Dana Redd, and then we'll come back to the podium for questions. Mayor Redd.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor Christie.